Welcome to this Crochet Panda tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet this panda plushie. Let's get straight into the video. So the materials that you will need are a crochet hook. I'm using a 5mm crochet hook, a yarn needle, scissors, safety eyes. I'm using 12mm safety eyes. You will need weight 6 yarn in both white and black. I'm using Premier Parfait chunky yarn and Honey Bunny yarn. So to start off, you are going to grab your black yarn, as we're going to start off by doing the legs. So it may be a little bit tricky to see with black yarn, so if you're not yet confident with crocheting, then you might want to use a different color for your panda rather than black. But we'll be starting off by doing 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So I like to do the 2 chain method to make my magic ring. So first I'll do a slip knot and pull that tight, and then I will chain 1 and 2, and then I'll be doing my single crochets for the magic ring into that first chain that I just made. So that will act as our magic ring. So we're going to be doing 6 single crochets into that first chain. Then for the following round, we are going to do 6 increases. So an increase is doing 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. We're going to do that 6 times, and that should take us up to 12 stitches. I'm just putting a stitch marker in, and I'm using scrap yarn as my stitch marker. And then for the next 2 rounds, we are just going to single crochet all the way around. And at the end of our second round, we are going to switch to white. So I'm just on the last stitch, and I've just pulled through to start my single crochet, and then I'm going to grab my white yarn, and we're going to finish off the single crochet with the white yarn. So we're going to pull our white yarn through those 2 loops and then tie the white yarn to the black yarn. Now we will just cut off the remainder of our black yarn. And now we can continue round in white. So now we are just going to single crochet for 1 round with our white yarn. Once we have completed that round, we are now going to leave a very small tail. So cut that off there. And then we're going to pull through with our hook to finish off. So this is the first leg complete. You're now going to want to go ahead and create another leg identical to this one, but on the second leg, do not finish off. So leave your hook in and do not cut off a tail. So go ahead and create another leg, but don't finish off on the second one. Okay, so I've just finished off my second leg, as you can see here, and I've just put my stitch marker in the very last stitch, which will just make it easier to see for the next round. During the next round, we'll be connecting the legs. So what we are going to do is we're going to start off by chaining 2 from where we have our hook in our second leg. So 1 and 2. Now we are going to grab our first leg, and you can see here's the first stitch from the last round, and here's the last stitch from the last round, the one that the tail's coming out of. And what we want to do is we want to put our hook into the first stitch of the last round, so the one that's lower down here. So we're going to put our hook inside that stitch, and we're going to single crochet into that stitch. Now we are going to single crochet all the way around the first leg, so up to the stitch where the tail is coming out of. So go ahead and just single crochet all the way around that first leg. So once you've crocheted into that last stitch, so the one that the tail is coming out of the first leg, we are now going to crochet into the 2 chains that we just did. So this might be a little bit tricky, but what you want to do is you want to bring your hook down and you want to try and find a hole in that second chain that you made. So just bring your hook in and then try and find a hole to put your hook in. So just like that. And then single crochet into that chain. You might have a hole here that's opening up now, but don't worry about that. We can sew it up later if necessary. Now you need to find a hole in the first chain that you made, so the other chain, so right here, and single crochet. So you've just single crocheted into the 2 chains. Now the next stitch that we want to go into is not the one with the stitch marker, but this one down here. So this one right here, we'll just put our hook into and single crochet. So this is what we're looking like right now. And then we just want to single crochet all the way around this second leg until we get back to the stitch marker. So I've just moved the stitch marker up, and now for the next round we are just going to single crochet all the way round. So I'm just going to show you how to do the first 2 stitches, as the first 2 stitches will be single crocheting into the other side of the 2 chains. So you're just going to find a hole in the chain, so that's the first chain, and single crochet, and then also the second chain. So what you've done in the last and this round is you've now single crocheted into both sides of the chain, which explains the stitch count. And now you are just going to single crochet all the way around back to the stitch marker for the rest of this round. So now you can see you have a really easy sort of outline to work around. And for the next round, we are going to do 6 single crochets and an increase times by 4. And this will take us up to 32 stitches. Now we are going to single crochet for the next 2 rounds. So go ahead and single crochet for 2 rounds straight. Now for the next round, we are going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease times by 8, and this will take us down to 24 stitches. Now we are just going to single crochet round for the next round. So if you finish this round and you find that you're a little bit off center, so you might be like somewhere over here, then you may want to do a couple more single crochets to make it more centered if you want the color change to be more centered. So I'm just going to do an extra single crochet and I'm going to switch to black during that single crochet. So I'm just going to pull through with the black yarn and then tie that to the white yarn. And now we can just cut the white yarn off, and now we're going to continue round with our black yarn. So for the following round, we're going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease times by 6, and this will take us down to 18 stitches. So once you've completed that round, we are just going to do the final round, which is single crochet decrease times by 6, and this will take us down to 12 stitches. So once you've completed that round, we are now going to finish off, and we can just leave a really short tail and then pull through. So this is what your panda's body should look like. And now you're going to want to add some stuffing. So once you've finished stuffing, we can now move on to the head. So the head is going to require some color changes, but a little bit later on. So we're going to start with our white yarn, and we are going to begin by doing 6 single crochets into the magic ring with our white yarn. Then for the second round, we are going to do 6 increases, and this will take us up to 12 stitches. Now for the following round, we are going to do single crochet, decrease, times by 6, and this will take us up to 18 stitches. For round 4, we'll be doing 2 single crochets and an increase times by 6. Now for the following round, we'll do 3 single crochets and an increase times by 6, and this will take us up to 30 stitches. Now for the following round, we're going to do 4 single crochets and an increase times by 6, and this will take us up to 36 stitches. Now for the following round, we are just going to single crochet all the way round. So the next round is going to involve some color changes. So we're going to do 13 single crochets in white, then 2 single crochets in black, 6 single crochets in white, then 2 single crochets in black, and then 13 single crochets in white. And this is to start the eyes basically. So go ahead and do that round. So now for the following round, we are going to do 12 single crochets in white, then 4 single crochets in black, 4 single crochets in white, and then 4 single crochets in black, and then 12 single crochets in white to finish off. So for the following round, we are going to do 3 single crochets and a decrease times by 2, then a single crochet all in white, and then 2 single crochets in black, and then 2 decreases in white, then 2 single crochets in black, then a single crochet in white, and 3 single crochets and a decrease times by 2, also in white. And this is our last round of color changing. So this is what it looks like with the color changes, and don't worry, any mistakes that you have here will be covered up with the snout. Now for the second last round, we're going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease times by 6. So for the last round, we're going to do single crochet, then a decrease times by 6. So my safety eyes are going to go between rounds 10 and 11. You can see them right here. They're about 6 stitches or so apart. And we're going to clip those in. And when we clip those in, we want to like push them towards the outer edge. So we'll like push it outwards as we clip it in. And once we've clipped those in, we can now finish off. So we're going to leave quite a bit of a tail for sewing. And then we're going to pull through to finish off. And what we need to do right now is we need to add some stuffing to the head. And once we have stuffed the head, we can now move on to the snout. Thank you for watching part 1 of this panda tutorial. Make sure to go watch part 2 if you want to finish making your crochet panda.